I have to say, first of all, like, you are our biggest supporter. Like, you've done so much for us, honestly. Like, I can't put that into words enough in terms of how, you know, when people are coming down to Northlands and seeing what's going on there in our community project, people are like, how do you do this? How is this working? How are you getting all these people coming together? And it's, you know, it's people like you that support us that really have made that project happen.
But I really enjoy it, you know. So
Yeah.
this is something what I use as well in my site,
Yes.
you know. So
Yeah, okay. So equal
so
benefit.
it works
Yeah.
together.
But I just wanted that to be, put it on record today. That we are
Thank you.
really grateful for everything you do. So the People Like Us project is about helping young people to understand about the history of migration into the UK, and that it's not just the history that's taught at school that makes our society and our community what it is today, and to kind of raise awareness of the wide world that we have, and how different backgrounds contribute to what makes them the person and then makes the community what it is.
Yes.
So obviously I've had a brief chat with you here this morning on the way to the studio, and we've got lots of interesting things to talk about today. So so just starting off then, I guess it'd be really good for you to tell everyone where it was that you were born.
So I was born in Latvia, in Riga, so which is it's really nice and beautiful country, as so a lot of seaside. So we have a really long seafront, which is I think about 330 miles long. You know, sandy white beaches. Plus, so it's a lot of forests in my country. So it's a really, really green country. I think more than 50% is covered in Greenland.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of lakes, rivers, and everything is for the public.
Yeah.
You know, like you go to the forest, you pickle some mushrooms, and then you might find some small lake in the middle of the forest. And so, with the, so it's...
So lifestyle must be kind of really relaxing and modelled around living in the countryside.
A lot of, you would spend a lot of time, summertime and even winter time as well, for people who likes to ski, you know, because winter time it's snowy time, so it's always on the nature.
Yes, you've got those contrasting seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what are your earliest memories?
Oh, I think it was with my granddad, in my grandparents' flat, not house.
Yeah.
So because so I have a younger brother, and when he was born, my parents so they couldn't bring me to nursery because it was far away, and my mom, she had another daughter. So I was living with my grandparents, and I think my earliest memories would be with them.
Okay.
You know, with
happy,
yeah, because my grand, he was really caring, and I remember the breakfasts he used to cook for me every time.
What was that then?
Before, it was some fried egg with some sausage, and I remember how he used to cut my sandwich in small pieces, so it was easy for me to put in my mouth. So it was, you know, I remember it was a lot of laugh, and I felt special.
Did you?
Yeah. And I felt like I was his favorite granddaughter.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Now, how long did you live with them for?
I think maybe it was for, I don't know. As I asked my mom, she said around maybe a year. But I would go home from Friday to to Sunday. So
So was that like lack of space? Was it? Or?
No, it was lack of time, because my sister, she used to go to school. My mom, she just had the baby, and her school was one side of Riga. My nursery was another, and my dad, he used to start work at 7.
Yeah.
So he couldn't take me.
Yeah.
You know, there was just no way.
Okay. So
and that's why, the grandparents, they stepped in and they, you know, helped.
Okay. So you when we started off, you began to speak about the beautiful nature that you lived in. So growing up then, when you were little, how did you get to benefit from that?
So I remember we used to have a summer house, because my both parents, they worked in a big factory. And at that time, each of the worker, they were eligible to get some summer house for summertime, for 1 month or 2 weeks. But because we were 3 kids, we were granted for whole summer, 3 months, And this is how we used to spend pretty much all summer, because my mom, she used to take holiday 1 month. She was with us, then my dad.
Right, okay.
Or sometimes we would leave and used to go from summer house to the nursery as well.
Okay, so what did you do during the summers?
It is like, it's by the lake. It's 5 minutes walk. It's in a pine forest.
Right.
So it's like really nice. It's a small house, wooden house. There was no water. Water was from the pump.
Mm-hmm.
But we really, really enjoyed because, we were spending time with the parents. My dad, he was really active, so he was always with us. As I remember, always. We were 3 of us, my dog and my dad, always doing some barbecues, swimming, playing different kind of games.
Yeah.
So I really, really thankful for my childhood.
Sounds lovely. And how about your school days? What was that like, going to school?
School, so I used to go to, I don't know, it wasn't like it was a school with the German language as a first, when we started to study German language from year 1.
Okay.
And then we had the German literacy.
Literacy, yeah.
Yeah, and some other subject in German.
Why was that? Obviously, speaking to someone who's ignorant to understand why that's true.
Because it was very close to the place where we lived.
Yeah.
It's like 2 minutes walk.
So that East Germany, would that be?
No, it was in Latvia, but it was a school.
Okay, so
with
it was
the
just near to you.
Yeah. It was in Latvia, but it was, I don't know why it was German school, but so it was all other subjects as well. But on top of everything, though, the German language would be prioritized.
Yeah. I've just remembered, I think, how many languages can you speak?
Now, so it's Russian, Latvian, English, and German, but of course I didn't use it for many years now.
Okay.
But
still there.
Still there. All the grammar, if you wake me up, the verbs and everything, I will be able.
Okay.
If I'll go there, I will pick it up quickly.
It's so impressive.
Just vocabulary needs to be.
This is still really impressive. 4 languages then, yeah. And who's the biggest influence in your life, would you say, growing up?
I think it would be my granddad and my dad.
Yeah.
I remember when I was little, I always was telling to my granddad, I want you to live as long as you can, and when I'll get bigger, I'll go to Germany because they have some medicine which makes you live longer. And I remember I always was promising him the wait, I'll get bigger, I'll get there, and I'll get you some medicine so you can stay longer.
Did he live a long life?
60 something. So not really long life.
Yeah.
But he was, really, because with my granddad, it's my mom's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he was born in Russia, and from very poor family he came. And so he lost one of his younger brother in Second World War because he was starving, so there was no food, and he just died from hunger.
Where was he?
In Russia,
somewhere. So do you know where?
It was in. It's by the river. It's
so
somewhere in south.
Stalingrad.
No. And then when he was 16, so he wanted to go to war, but he couldn't because he was too young. So he made the fake papers.
Right. To go
to war, and so they sent him to because it was a war with Germany, and plus in some parts of Russia they had the war with Japan.
Okay.
So when they sent him to this part where they had a fight with Japanese people.
That's amazing. So you kind of don't know too much about that then, really? We
still have, because he was writing his diaries. So we still have it. That? Yeah.
Well, and good for this project then.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So when I'll go home, I'll ask my mom to give it to me, and
fantastic.
I might.
Yeah, brilliant. Because obviously that's the kind of exactly the sort of thing that we want to try and unearth through this project. So that's brilliant. So for young people who are probably not going to know, and obviously even my knowledge is limited, Latvia at that time was the USSR.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that? And it was a communist country. So can you tell us what it was like to live in a communist country? And, you know, were you, obviously you didn't really know any difference, but how that affected you?
So as from my childhood, so I have a really good memories.
Yeah.
You know, so we had everything. We used to go, because compared to other Soviet Union countries, Latvia, you know, was they put a lot of money. They invested. You know, we had a lot of factories, so people had work. You know, we had a pretty much good life.
Okay.
Because we were going to restaurants to eat outside once a week.
Yeah. So what were the differences for communism then? Was that everyone was employed? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And when you were saying about your summer house, the government provided the summer house? So that you wouldn't have to pay for any of that?
No.
Yeah.
And they even would provide, you know, because it's in the, like, it's half an hour from Riga.
Yeah.
So, or you could go by car. We didn't have car. By train. They would even provide the bus, which would go every morning for people who were working and going, like, they still would provide the bus till the train. Okay,
yeah. So were you aware of any negative parts of communism?
You know, from my childhood, I don't remember any. You know, we had.
Obviously, all we hear is the terrible things.
Yeah, you know, maybe they were something, but I think my parents, they've done everything so for us not to know it.
I see.
You know, what I remember when it was, I think it was already 1990s, where it was the end of Soviet Union, when Latvia became independent. I remember my parents, they worked in the factory where they used to work before. And they didn't get salary for maybe 1 year.
Wow.
Every day they were working. They would get some tickets for food.
Yeah.
You know.
So this is communism came to an end.
Yeah. And they still, you know, they were working, but there was no money.
Right.
So, and they still would we would provide for 3 kids.
Yeah. So things like Christmas and that, what was that then?
I remember that Christmas, so we would get only like sweets and that's it. No toys, nothing.
Yeah. So, he was kind of aware
that something happens.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, I think how we survived, because my grandma, she used to work in army hospital.
Right.
You know, and she would bring some food as well for us.
So why was it that money and food were hard to come by at that time then?
Because I think, you know, it was when Soviet Union broke.
Yeah.
That's it. There was no new government yet.
I see. So it's like a bit of a power vacuum.
Yeah. And some people, they were just stealing all, you know, the resources.
Yeah.
They were selling the factories on the metal.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
All the equipment.
Yeah.
They wouldn't sell as equipment, but they were just trying to sell it as quick as they could.
Right. So it must be kind of a really scary time for your parents, and they probably shielded you from...
Yeah.
So secondary school then, you haven't spoken to us about that. What was that like, growing up, your teenage years?
Oh, it was... So I've changed school after 9 years, because I could stay in my German school, but few of my friends, they didn't pass. Okay. So they had to leave, you know, and obviously I made maybe a mistake, maybe not. So I left with them. And so it was, you know, we chose a different school, which was all right. So it was simple, you know, you go to school, at some point I started to work as well when I was in secondary school.
Okay.
How you call it? So where you put, not DVD, but before DVDs.
CDs?
The big ones.
Video cassettes.
Video cassettes, and we had... you know, somebody had a lot of them, and you could come and say, I want to watch this
you would
movie.
hire a video,
Yeah, and I worked in those places after school.
Okay.
So, which was, you know, I could make some money for myself.
So that's when your kind of work ethic started then, I guess?
It started before, so I think when I was 12 or even younger, we were washing car cars.
Okay.
On the street, we had some posh cafe.
Yeah.
Where all at that time, so I think it were not mafia, but like,
Really?
yeah, and they would sit in there, park their car, and we were washing those cars as well. So which sometimes we made quite good money.
Yeah.
Because they would give tips and everything without any problems, you know.
See.
But so it was funny. Of course, my parents they wasn't aware.
Really?
Otherwise, I would be in trouble.
Where did they think you were?
Outside, because you know all my childhood, so we were quite independent.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember that my parents they even took me to doctors. We were doing that ourselves. We knew where to go to dentist only when we were little, but most of other things. So we were really independent. We knew how to cook, how to clean. You know how we had a dog. We walked dog ourselves. So, you know.
What was your aspirations at this time for yourself?
I think my dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always had great relationships. So we were three of us, but we always were together. You know, he made us we were like a unit. Even we used to hate each other at some point and fighting and everything. And he always said, until you make up, don't come to me. I don't want to know who fault it is, you know, your sisters or your sister and brother. You all have to be one unit, you know, because friends and they come and go, but we are family, you know, we have to be like one piece, you know, we're strong. And he always, he was telling always, you know, always. And now, yes, this is how we are now. We are one unit.
So when did the thoughts start to get into your head about moving away then? Because you've got a very strong family. It sounds a happy time.
I think so. So I finished secondary school at 18, and we didn't have money to go to higher education. And my dad said, so why don't you try to go to courses and do to become a croupier? So because they're getting good money, you know, and so I went, yes, after 3 months I got the job. I worked in casino 2 years. And then one of my friends, she went to England and from casino, and she said, I really like it. And I said, maybe I should come as well. You know, it was just I don't know, just some adventure I wanted. But anyway, I had some plan. I thought I'll come to England. I will get 2,000. I remember, I don't know where did I get this figure from, 2,000 a month. Okay. I counted how much money I will make a year. I didn't count that I will need to spend some money, you know. I thought that I'll get 2,000, I'll be able to keep it, you know, save it. Yeah. After 2 years, my plan was to go back home and buy a flat. Mm-hmm. But it didn't happen, so... I remember when I came, so I struggled a lot because I missed my family. You know, I was every evening writing letters to my mom, to my brother, saying, but I didn't send it. You know, it was just the way I felt. And I didn't want them to know how I feel because they would be worried, you know. And it was my way to deal with, not anxiety, but I missed them a lot. Yeah. And then I thought, should I go? And I said, no, I won't. I'll stay here. I'll wait. Because I can't make decisions when I'm emotional. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know.
So how old were you when you came here?
21.
Okay, so you've shown some maturity there, the way that you were thinking. And what about, how were they when you announced the news you were coming here?
They were a bit upset and I think maybe they didn't believe that I might go because, you know, you need to have money and to come here. But I was saving. I saved, I remember it was £600 at that time, you know. Yeah. It wasn't big money, but for me it was, you know, because it was my first saving. And so I bought tickets. I came here to my friend and she was working in like nightclub. It was a big apartments upstairs, like huge one, and it was converted to a nightclub where the DJs were playing. There was a bar selling alcohol, everything without license. So when she said, so we need someone in the cloak room, and do you want to come? I said yes, 3 nights a week. So when it was completely different scenery,
Of course.
Yeah.
Took you out of yourself.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was, something like you are somewhere in the movie.
Yeah.
Because different people, you see, like it is a culture. It is a nightclub culture because it was in Shoreditch. And the people who are going and having this lifestyle, they're unique. You look at them and wow, this is, all of them are characters.
Yeah.
It's something what in my country I wouldn't see.
No, of course.
So,
it must have taken some adjustment, but maybe took you out of yourself a bit from feeling lonely.
Yeah, because it was, and everyone was obviously so chatty because people are going there, they're in a nice mood. And
so going back to you arrive in London?
Yeah, in London.
What was your initial impressions? And what did you think England was going to be? And then what was it?
So before I came here, I took some private lessons to learn English. And obviously when I came, I couldn't talk because of the accents of the people, how they fluent English. It's not the English that we were taught in schools, or in the private lessons. It's not the same. It was not maybe shocking in a good way. Because I didn't see black people before, like multinational, multicultural, Indian, Arabs. It's, everything was here.
Yes.
And you come and, I don't know, it's like from the movie, the double-decking buses. I remember I used to just sat and drive around the London, enjoying nice view, looking at the people. So so I started to live when we came, so it was not far from Shoreditch as well. Mm-hmm. So it's, they have a really nice market, Shoreditch market as well.
So it's quite a sort of trendy, place.
Yeah. So it was, I remember in Shoreditch, they had the famous bagel shop, one of the oldest in London for the bagels.
Yeah.
So,
You used to go there.
Yeah.
And your family, you're missing them still, and do they think you're coming back, or do they just know that you've taken your own course? Or?
They were hoping that I will come back, because I remember when it was when was my flight, my father, he started to cry, and he said sorry that I'm going. He said sorry that I couldn't provide something better for you, that you are going. And I said, no, it's not because I'm not happy, but I want to try something different. And I told him, thank you that you give me this self-belief that I can go and I can try.
Yes.
I know if something will go wrong, I'll be back.
Yes.
I know that you're going to accept me back.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you for that you gave me not the right, but ability to choose.
Yes.
That I can make my own choices.
Yeah. That's the good point, isn't it, really?
Yeah, because for me, I remember, because we were punished if we were behaving badly, me, my brother, then my sister. So, but we knew it was honest, not a game, but it was honest rules. Yes. We knew if you don't behave, you will be punished. So you could choose how you behave.
Yeah.
And so I have a big respect for my parents, what he gave to me. Not just my father and my mom, because they worked as a team.
Yes. And gave you a good grounding. And yeah, definitely, you can tell.
And I knew that, all of us, we felt special. There was no favorite kid.
No.
All of us, we had a special time with our parents.
Yes.
And that there was no fight to be, we didn't need to prove that you are best, or, like if we were naughty, we would be punished. If we achieved something, the parents, they were proud, they would praise, they would, use kind of balance,
Yeah.
not only being like, oh, you are naughty.
Yeah.
It's okay to be naughty, even to my son, I said, it's good to be naughty. I'm naughty as well sometimes. So I want you to be naughty. I want you to have a good childhood and
Yes.
express yourself the way you feel at the moment.
Yes.
Because later you can't do that.
No, it's good. It's a good lesson to learn, right? Yeah, it's really good. So you can tell that they've given you a real good grounding, so they can be proud, can't they?
Yeah.
So you're in London, and then tell us about how you then come from London to be in Essex.
So we spent in London. So first I had this job in the nightclub, but I worked there maybe 2 months. So then I met some people there, and which led me to my job, which I had as a nanny in a Russian family, very rich family. And maybe after 1.5 years in London, so I met my husband, which is from
just quickly,
Ukraine.
Tell us before we go into that. Tell us about the lifestyle as a nanny for a rich family. That must have been completely different again.
Yes. So it was really so. They had one kid at the beginning, so my role was looking after the kids. They had a driver, they had someone who is cleaning the house, someone who is cooking. So obviously my job was just to look and help them a bit, because the parents, they were involved in the kid life,
Yeah.
But sometimes if they were going for business trip, so I was going with them.
Okay.
Or if they were going for holidays, so I was going with them as well. So they had their own time and spent some time with the kids as well. So I traveled quite a lot in France, in Italy, Spain, Switzerland.
Wow.
Then it was America as well, New York and Las Vegas, New Zealand. So
you must have thought you kind of landed on your feet, right?
Yeah, and they used to take me to the posh places, posh restaurants. I think 3 or 4 times, they took me with them to the private jet if they were using. So I had we stayed in New Zealand. We stayed at their friend's farm. He has his own giraffes, so something what, I could feed those giraffes, ostrich, zebras. So, and the guy where we stayed, their friend, he was inventor of the amphibia cars.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he had a car which would go in the water and become a boat.
Yeah.
And so it was really great fun and something what...
Yeah. So I
didn't experience before, and now I don't experience this as well.
Of course. But nice to have had.
Yeah.
And I guess for you, it must be it must have helped to get over that loneliness, and life must have become quite an adventure during that time.
Yeah. Because many people, they'll say, "Oh, you're so lucky." I said, "Yes, I know that I'm very, very lucky to." But
make your own luck, don't you?
Yeah. I was lucky that I had this ability to work with the kid, and then we had good connection. Then they had second kid, and they could see that.
Yeah.
Even if I'm being young, but still, I don't know, they liked me, and they saw that I treat their kids in a nice way, and that they were attracted to me. Yeah. So
it worked. Yeah. So then you met your husband.
Yeah.
So how? What was his motivation to come here?
So he's from Ukraine. He used to live and work in Poland. Mm-hmm. And so he was quite successful, he's a builder and he had already his clients for whom he worked. But then some of his friends, they were here and they offered him, they want to come to England, and try to maybe to work here. So he came. And he said if he wouldn't meet me, he would go back to Poland because it was easier for him there because the language, no barriers, and he had already some some good work over
Yes.
there, good job.
Of course.
But then, so he met me and he never
He
left. And it was, to find place to live, because we used to live in East London in Walthamstow. We were renting a house, but lived in one room because it was cheaper to, I had my brother, my friend, so it's you share the house.
Okay.
Because when you are no kids, there is no point to share your own house.
Of course, yes, so it's cheaper.
Yeah. And then so we were started to look somewhere around, not far from London, and we found Pizzi. So, and at that time it was very cheap to buy compared to London. For example, now the prices are more or less the same, but it used to be, for example, in Walthamstow, the prices were 250,000. In Pizzi, it was, so we bought house for 90,000.
Wow. Yeah.
So
massive
the
difference.
Big difference. Of course, house was in really bad condition.
Yeah.
But my husband, he took 3 months off his work and he did it. Yeah.
And what was your impressions of Pizzi then when you first come?
I really like it because, it wasn't so much crowd. We live next to the park, which is nice, the Northland Park. So it's a really nice place. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yeah. And like we spoke about something, didn't we, coming up, and I'm going to talk about it now because I think it's important, isn't it? So do you feel safe and you feel accepted? Have you had much experience of racism?
I had because so when Dennis, my son, he still was in the pram. Maybe he was 6 months, and I was walking in the park maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and they were some teenagers sitting, and they were in school uniform, but they were smoking weed, And I was on the phone with my mom or with my sister, I don't remember, and they heard me that I spoke Russian, and they started, going to me, what are you doing here, and being really rude, and they were telling bad things about my son, that he's ugly, and what I'm doing here, but I tried to, because they were going and trying to be aggressive, and next to me I pushed one of the girl away from me, and she said, why are you pushing me? I'm a child. I said, if you're a child, then behave like a child. You are not behaving like a child. But I didn't report, and now I see one of this girl,
You see him
and
now?
then she memorized me as well, and she didn't say sorry, but now she says hello to me.
Yeah.
She's
so you feel
grown up a bit.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's something, I guess.
So
did that change the way you feel?
A bit, yes. I was scared, and now I'm still scared of the teenagers, to be honest.
Yeah, which is a shame that you feel like that. How do you feel affected by, Brexit, and did you notice a difference in the way people treat you?
No. Because maybe now it's in Pizzi, the international community is very wide.
Yes. Okay, so you kind of you stay within that community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's more out, now when ATF are there, so we're all mixing together. But before, yes, it used to be like that the people that, they're from other countries, they would say hello back. But even with people that you see every day and you say hello to them, they will just turn their heads away from you.
Yeah. So
which is not nice.
Yeah. So you get that a lot still, or not so much?
Yeah. But this is, the families which are not in good position.
Yeah. So you always try and think about the reasons why rather than...
Yeah.
Stereotypically, what would be said is that people from other countries come here, they still have jobs, they still have houses. I hear that time and time again. Worked in the local authority myself, so it's something that I've heard quite a lot. So what's your perception when you hear people saying that? How does that make you feel?
Sometimes it's quite upsetting, because I know, for example, my brother came, he straight away, he worked and he started his job, for example, as a laborer. And then in 2 months' time, he started to do already to be a fixer. He became really quickly, he learned some new skills because he was helping other people, and they took him, work with him, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it is about if you want to work, nobody can steal your job. You know, you come, you start from the wiping, cleaning the toilet, for example, if you need to provide for yourself and for your family, and you do that. And then if you're hardworking, yes, I agree that, you know, some people might think that we are stealing the jobs, and in many factories, in many farms, you know, supervisor, they're not local people.
Yes.
They're people from other countries.
Yes.
And you need to ask why. You know, maybe because they started to pick up the strawberry at 4 a.m. in the morning. You know, they were working on their knees to achieve something.
Yeah, sure. That's good. Good point. Just like to finish the chat where we started today, really. Just, you know, your experience over the last few months, the stuff you've been doing with us. So perhaps if you can explain how you got involved with ATF from the beginning.
So from the beginning, I think it was when you came to Briscoes, and when we would receive the flyers that you can put your son, I can put my son in the club, which is free of charge. And so, yes, we went for it, and my son was really, really happy. And then during the lockdown, Dennis had the chance to have a one-to-one session with Pete. And this is how we, I think, became to chat with Pete, you know, I became more familiar, with ATF. And then I think when you started to do the park play as well, and then it was some sessions in the park when the lockdown finished. And it just, you know, was getting involved with other parents and try to bring more people in, because I understand that how important it is, you know, so the community comes together, then all the kids are out in the park. They're playing, they're enjoying, their experiences are different than staying at home all day. So, and I still want to bring more and more people. You know, even when we last week we went to have a vaccine, you know, and there was one lady, and I saw her in the park, you know, she was waiting for to get her certificate or something, and I come, you know, we're having this and this, and my husband, oh my goodness, even here you try to talk to people and bring them to, I said, yes, because I want to share.
Yes.
I've told it already before that, you know, to me it feels like our community won lottery and this is how you want, and this is what you want to share. You want more people to experience, you want more kids to come, to enjoy it. To have the chance to try different stuff. Even with the club, you know, the experience, what you give, what you created for our kids, it's amazing. We can't do any better, you know.
Oh, thank you. You told a story to us before, didn't you, about Dennis and how his role model was Pete. Do you want to tell us that for us?
Yeah. Because so Dennis, he's quite shy. You know, and everywhere he goes, we need to push him. So we need to. And Pete, you know, he made a really good job with him, because it was 1-to-1 session, and usually he wouldn't go because it's 1-to-1. But somehow he said, "Yes, mommy, I'm going." You know, so that Pete gained his trust, and he made him feel welcome and relax. And you know, it was 1 hour session, and it's not easy to be with someone that you don't know for 1 hour.
Yes, of course.
You know? But he, you know, he nailed it.
It's good to know.
And I'm really impressed. So I'm really, really happy and really grateful for you and that Pete is in our life, he's in our community.
Yeah.
Because he is doing a really amazing job.
That's good to know. And just finishing really like we started, like all of it, none of it works without having people like you there to make it happen, because, when we start out, we're standing in the park on our own, like what you're doing in the waxing.
Yeah.
Do you want to come here? Do you want to come here? Do you want to come here? And it can be very hard work, and you feel it's a task. It's daunting.
Yeah.
And people that work for us, Pete, Ash, Troy. Oh, can you go and speak to them and ask them to come? It's not easy. So.
Yeah, I know. I know that I have disability. I can go even if they're gonna say me no.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, exactly.
I am stupid. Sometimes I look that I'm stupid, but I'm not scared of that.
Yeah.
I'm just human being, so it's all right to
exactly.
to look sometimes a bit strange to other people. So
I'm doing it all the time myself, so I know what you mean. But like for you, people talk about there's a lot of chat about something called asset-based community development, finding the assets within the community. So like you are the living embodiment of an asset. For us, it's just like invaluable. And 5 of you, then we have 50 people.
Yeah, because if we bring, it comes as a chain. If I'll bring someone who has few friends, even if one family, if one new family. Because with the park play, sometimes it is upsetting, that like this weekend there was not much people.
Yeah.
But then they were one new family. And she said at the end, she got involved, she was happy. And she said, I'll tell my friends. I said, okay, this is step by step,
Exactly, yeah, no, definitely.
Don't give up.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, and that's the way it will work. So.
Because sooner or later, it will spread.
Yeah.
It is already spreading, but it just now, maybe some people they're away, some people they're a bit not sure if they need to come. But if some of their friends will come, they will join. And then,
definitely.
It will be viral.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. It's been brilliant. It's been fascinating. So thank you.
I really enjoy being part of, and I feel really thankful and grateful, because for me it's my way I deal with my issues, with my personal absolutely stuff, mental stuff.
It's there for everyone, so to get what and there's lots of opportunities as well, so we want to see that develop for you as well.
And exactly. And my husband, he's so proud of me. He says, oh my goodness, I see how happy you are, doing something like that, and that I feel appreciated. I know that.
Absolutely are. So it's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.